Action. Hey guys, welcome to the Big Money Stylist Podcast. Every week here in Laguna Beach, California. I am Danielle K. White. This is Ani. We are Ani Riviera. Is that how do I say your last name?
No, Rivera.
Rivera? I'm a Riviera. Remember
Damn it, Danielle.
Ani Ana? Like,
or when Garrett couldn't pronounce my name for like the first year I lived here.
Riviera?
No, Rivera. There's only one.
You don't live on the Riviera?
How long have you known me?
I'm such an asshole with names. Like, if you know me, I swear to God, I can remember like your whole life story. But if you like ask me, well, I know your name, but
Danielle, where am I from? Know. Where am I from?
Hold on. I get two states mixed up all the time. Louisiana.
No.
Illinois.
No.
I don't know.
Missouri.
Are those even close to each other?
Illinois, Missouri are side by side, yes.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm sweating. Don't ask me tough questions.
You're always like, Ani, how was Louisiana? I'm like, I don't fucking know, Danielle. I visited it once. I'm not from there.
I don't know why. I like am the worst with states, countries, like, and names. So
people is kind of what you're telling me.
No, like literally, like people will sit down and I'll be like, how's your dog doing? And they're like, oh my God, I told you that like 6 months ago. How do you remember? I'm like, I don't know. Like, you know.
You're like, do you have any kids? They're like, Danielle, I told you I have 5 kids. You're like,
no,
yes,
I remember that shit usually.
I don't see, I'm bad with names and faces. Like I can be like, I think I know you, but when they're like, hi, Ani, I'm like, fuck, oh my God, they do know me. I'm like, I've told Jared, I'm like, if I don't introduce you, I need you to introduce yourself. So then they say their name and I can be like, haha.
I think that's pretty normal though. Like, especially if it's like somebody you met once. And I used to be like so embarrassed, and now I just like look at him, I'm like, I'm sorry, I totally spaced your name. And like, even if I've met him like 4 times, I have had clients before, like that have been clients of mine for like a year. And I'm like, all right, I finally just go, I don't want to be an asshole, but am I saying your name correctly? Like, I know you've been a client of mine for a year, but I don't know. Like, actually a good friend of mine, her name's Brianna, but sometimes people call her Brianna. Oh. And I finally was like, God, so I go, hey, I know we're friends, but like, is your name Brianna or Brianna? And she's like, oh, either one. And I was like,
can you pick one, please?
Yeah, I was like, no, that confuses me more. Just say one. So now I'm like, hey, Brianna.
Hey, Bree.
Hey, Bree. Yeah, I'm like, hey, Bree.
If this makes you feel any better, so Jeremy's last name is Finlay, Finlay. Yeah. But some of his family says Finley. So literally, this was last week. I was like, we need to have a very awkward talk. I know we're dating. How do you say your last name? Because is it Finlay or Finley? And he's like, Finlay, but tons of people say Finley. I'm like, oh, thank God I was pronouncing it right.
Are you offended if people don't remember your name?
My name's Anian. I couldn't. No, I'm not. The only thing that grinds my gears is Annie Ann or Annie.
Yeah.
Ugh, and that's fine if that's your name.
Annie
it's just not.
Annie Anna.
I love when they're like, oh, I'm like, oh, it's Anian, and they're like, oh, Anya, are you Russian? I'm like, no. They're like, oh, Ariana. I'm like, still no.
Nope.
People,
yeah.
I tell you.
People just call me Daniel or Danny, and I'm like, no, that's a boy. So it's not my name, but.
Do you like people calling you Danny?
No, I think that's such an ugly name. I know some girls think it's cute. If your name's Danielle and you're like, I like being called Danny. I'm like, I do not. And maybe it's because my personality is a little more formal. But
good morning, Mrs. White.
Yes, exactly. You can call me Mrs. White. You can call me Danielle, but don't call me Danny or D or Dan.
Hey, Big D.
Dan. Do not call me Big D. Big double D's, Big D. None of that. None of that goes.
Hey, Big DW.
Some asshole's going to listen to this and then call me that just to be funny.
So they're going to do it just to be like, oh, I'm going to make Danielle mad. Hey, Big D. Yeah. But I think it's funny.
I just won't respond.
Well, Garrett, I call him G all the time.
Yeah.
Not in real life, but through text. I don't want to spell his name.
Yeah, no, I don't. I sometimes call him G through text, but yeah. But yeah, let's get on with the show today. Today, our topic is not name association, although it should be.
Probably at this point.
I wish I had some technique or skill to help you guys remember names, but clearly we're still working on it. But anyways, I'm Danielle. This is Ani Rivera. I wanted to say Riviera so bad.
I always tell people, I'm like, I am not a place in Mexico. No. Damn it.
Okay, today every week we try to share value. We are both hairstylists, and I have an education company called Big Money Stylist that teaches the art and science of a hair extension method called natural beaded rose, which is it's not a hand-tied extension. Hand-tied extension is too fucking general. I'm sorry. I can't handle it anymore. Hand-tied extensions, there's multiple systems and multiple ways you can put it in. Hand-tied started trending because hand-tied hair is trending. So just to clear that up, like if you hear hand-tied extensions and you're a client or you're looking to take a class, research what system you're using and also research the experience that the education company offers and everything like that. I think in the world of social media, everybody's like looking for the newest and biggest and best thing, but just make sure you do your research. So today we're actually we're going to be talking about marketing. So bring us in, Ani.
So obviously marketing, I mean, everybody nowadays is on Instagram. And really when you think about it, if you are not like, let's say you're like, oh, I want to find, even someone messaged me the other day and they're like, Ani, this is awkward. Where does everyone at DKW get their lips done? I'm like, I have no idea.
I do.
You're like, they are natural. You already posted the 10-year photo, Danielle.
I know. Yeah, I look so different. I have to say this right now. Okay, I had veneers done because I'm coming clean, guys. I chipped my tooth when I was little doing the high jump because I thought I was a track and field star. And then I chipped my tooth and it broke, and I had this tooth that I kept having fixed. And finally, over the years, I got a veneer. It was not a great veneer. It started turning colors. It was bigger than my tooth. I never was happy with it, so I found a dentist here locally in Orange County. I got a full set of veneers, and it literally like pushed my upper lip out more. Yes, I get fillers in my lips, like the most minimal amount ever. Like I even posted a before and after side by side. But what people don't realize is my smile's changed, pushing my lips out. So I don't know what to tell you guys. Like,
so where does Danielle get her lips done? I don't know. Go get veneers. That's all I can tell you.
Well, that's what I know. I've literally been telling people that. I'm like, yes, I do get a teeny bit of filler, but it looks different and fuller because I had my teeth done, and it made them like it pushed out my upper lip. So there you go. I'm coming clean. That's really what it is. But
that did make me laugh though. When she messaged me, I was like, I don't even know how to respond. I don't know.
I know. It's but people have been asking me. They're like, oh, did you get more filler? I'm like, I've been literally getting filler for the last 10 years. That's why I posted that one photo at 10 years, because right before the filler started.
You're like, look at those little bird lips, but now they're luscious.
Yes. Anyways.
So marketing. Yes.
Back to marketing.
So it's so interesting though, because really, if you're not on social media and you're not present on social media, you don't exist. Like even me, when I'm trying to go through, like I use like Google Maps, like to find anything, and I search. If they don't have a website button, you're dead to me.
Yeah,
like, I'm not going to your business. You don't even have a website.
Totally.
And that's so interesting. So I know with hairstylists, a really big thing. Obviously, we post our work,
right?
And that goes kind of. It's great and it's bad all at once, because some people post work that looks legitimately like their work. And then some people you're like, okay, dude, you literally filtered it 15 times. You cooled it down. You warmed it up.
It's like a hot face with a blur of hair.
But then you're like, really, what? Or when it's like a blonde and it's a little bit warmer, which is fine. Warm blondes are beautiful, but they cool it down so much. It looks icy white.
And you can tell their face, it looks so washed out.
You're like, why are you Casper the Friendly Ghost?
Yeah,
like,
you're
what
like,
happened?
No, it's cool. Like warmth and I like warmth in blondes.
I like warmth in all hair. I like coolness in all hair.
Yeah, I was going to say I like both. And I think that the colors are age appropriate. And I'll just share this story really fast. I had two women sitting in my chair yesterday. Both were probably in their 50s, had like probably 50% gray or more. And they're like, oh, I don't want to be gray. I can't do the whole gray trend. And I'm like, let's be clear right now. If you're 50 and you're trying to do gray, it will age you. If you're 20 and doing gray, it might be cute and trendy.
You look rad.
Yeah, like whatever you want to do. And I'm like, so there is like age appropriate to even colors. And I find like older women, even as I get older, I'm like, I need a little warmth to my skin tone. Mm-hmm. And so anyways, we were like kind of talking about that. But even on my warm clients, like there's that borderline where it gets like too yellow and too brassy. And then I'll still put on like an icy or a vanilla toner to cool it down, but not take it into the gray or just the ashy phase.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a massive, massive difference. So what we really want to talk about today is what you see on Instagram. Because let's be real, Danielle and I both saw a post on Instagram by some dude. I guess he's like a big deal. Honestly, I'd never heard of him before, but he put some aggressive stuff on Instagram. Like I won't say the name.
I don't even know his name. I didn't know I was following him, and I like scrolled by and I was like, wow, cool.
It was just, I do follow him, and it is just some aggressive posting some days. Like the shit he says, I'm like, man, I know people think I'm an aggressive human, but you're a little much for me. And
I've never read any of his posts. That one just caught my attention because the subtitle in the box, like it wasn't like the comment in the thread.
Yeah.
It was a picture of "stop editing your photos" in quotation marks. And then it was like, and then I had to read the comment below, and it was like, it's not creating realistic expectations by editing your photos. And then there was like 200 comments, and I was like, I don't have time to get sucked into this. But every Monday I share a blog post just on hair before and afters from the salon or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to share my 2 cents on photo lighting and editing. So I went into just like share on the blog post how like for a colorist, so much of representing your work is finding great lighting. And I know, like, we were talking about this other day because there's, like, I mean, we live in sunny California, so we're pretty lucky with the weather. And we have students in our program, they're like, it's like a blizzard outside, like
-30.
Or I have no natural lighting in my salon whatsoever. And so that's when it gets a little bit tricky.
Definitely.
And I've even like played around with like box lights and ring lights and just tried to get the best possible shot. And I will tell you, the better lighting you have, the less editing that you have to do whatsoever, because it actually does represent your work. Last week, it was a student that came in and I was doing her hair, and her color is really pretty, but it always fades out a little brassy. Like I feel like brunettes fade out red, bronze fade out kind of brassy, and blondes fade out a little bit yellow. Like it's just kind of how it is. And so she came in, she had faded kind of brassy. She's like, I loved what you did last time. It was like very neutral, soft, even a borderline cool, but not ashy. And I'm like, cool, let's do it. And I have this trick, I call it the 3-minute drag. And I do like a full head of foil, like bleach like clear to like the yellow, like level 9, 10. And then I take just a 6N permanent and I just drag it down and I literally watch it process. And it's really pretty. It's very neutral. Like with color, if you're looking for cooler tones, you have to lift out of that goldy phase and then deposit the desired color back over it. And that's how you get the shade that you want. But you have to lift all the pigment out. So anyways, her color looked amazing. And I'm sitting there and I'm taking the after shot. And I shoot with just a Canon Rebel. And it's a professional camera, but it's not like a super mega like high-tech camera. Like I just find it's easy. It's great to take a portrait. Like it's a step up from the iPhone. And I just recommend all my stylists. I'm like, get this. It's not overwhelming. It will take the look of your work to the next level without overcomplicating it. So we shoot with Canon Rebels at my salon. And I'm sitting there and I shoot a manual. That's very, very important to shoot a manual, Ani.
I know.
God damn it. Ani's like, my camera's not working. I'm like, you're shooting it automatic with a flash.
There was like it was on P. I don't even know what P means, but it was on
I don't even know what P means. All I know is A means automatics.
And M is manual, and it was not on M.
Yes. So I shoot, and so I'm on M. I shoot an M. And when you're taking a photo with a good camera, there's a button called ISO. Now, ISO, it lets the amount of light in when you're taking a photo, or it can decrease it. So I try to pick a really good spot in the salon that has like natural light that's not too warm, not too cold. And then I adjust my ISO to let enough light in. And how this is a trick, and I'll share with you hairdressers. You know if it's overexposed, because sometimes people are like, oh, I love how their hair looks. You know if it's overexposed if their skin like looks too blown out.
It's very glowy and not like a good glow.
It's not like a good glow. Like I like a nice bright picture, but like you look at their face and you're like, I think there's a nose on there somewhere. Like
they're washed out.
Yeah, like so that's a good way to, when you're taking photos and you're playing around with your ISO and you're trying to keep it realistic, is look at their face and their skin tone when you're taking the photo. So anyways, I'm shooting these photos and I have it in manual and I have my ISO set and everything, and I do multiple shots because you never know.
One client can be like 20, 30 photos, guys, just to understand.
And just like, and that's how I learned that, because I shoot with blogger photographers a lot, and I'm like thinking like, gosh, all these lifestyle bloggers, they have like 5 photos on their blog, but you take like 25 to get 5 good ones. So anyways, I'm taking the shot, and all of a sudden I check my photos in between, make sure I like it, and do I need to zhuzh up the hair or whatever it is. And I'm like, I literally was in the same spot taking the same photo, and one turned out like kind of dark and very cool, and the other one was like super brassy and warm. And I was like, I did nothing on my camera. Like, so sometimes your camera will just pick up lighting somewhere else in the space, and it'll like adjust to that even on manual. So I posted this on the blog, and I was like, listen, this one's too cool and this one's too warm, but it's a great shot. Like it was in focus, it was really crisp, and I'm like, so I took the warmth one and I kind of like edited it so it's in between. I reduced the warmth so that I felt like it best represented my work. And to me, that's how I educate my students. I'm like, I get it. Like lighting, we're not photographers, we're hairstylists.
And lighting is a bitch.
Lighting is a bitch. Like even me, like people will come and like watch me take photos, and I'm committed. Like I'm like moving. We have like a backdrop. I move it in multiple locations. I feel like a little bit of a crazy person, but I realize like to get a good shot, like that's just what you do. And the more you do it, the more normal it is. And people say, well, how do you get good at photos? Be committed to the shot and take multiple shots. So I just like thought that was an interesting post. Like, I'm like, don't be all high and mighty and have an ego that you don't edit your work. I'm like, because honestly, the goal is to deliver, the best results to the clients and keep realistic expectations. But if I post the super cool ashy one that I don't feel like it looks like that in person, and somebody brings that in and I do the exact same formulas, it's not going to turn out. Mm-hmm. So I just tell people, I'm like, if you're going to do any kind of editing, just edit it to where you feel like it actually looks like it did in person.
And not only that, but guys, even because let's be real, like women, not that we're vain creatures, but we want to look good in a photo. That's why some women, even one of the stylists, Ian, in the salon yesterday, one of his clients, she was like, can you please not get my face? He's like, look, don't worry. We'll get the back shot or like a side. People won't know it's you. She's like, please don't tag me. Don't get my face. And I was like, ooh, this is like a hot button issue for her. Like, oh, man. But even then, some women come in with, even me, I was supposed to put makeup on today to get my hair done. I'm like, I already forgot. My bad, dude. But like, you can edit their face to not because you think they're ugly or because they don't look good enough.
Marketing material.
And to make them also kind of feel better. Like, hey, no, you didn't wear makeup. Don't worry about it.
I got you.
You have a pimple. We can get rid of that. It's not to take away from who they are or their natural beauty, but just to make them feel comfortable with having their photo taken.
Totally. Because I would say women are very vulnerable about having their photos taken. Like, I get it. If you're a 22-year-old model, you're like, yeah, tell me when, tell me how. Like, or you're a blogger, you're used to it. Like, you hear the snaps in the camera and you're like, pose, pose, pose. Like, but a lot of our clients, that's not realistic. And a lot of my clientele are actually older women. And they're like, please don't get my face. And I'm like, it's fine. And I'll have them like look down or look to the side. And I'm like, don't worry. I just want to get like, it's the front, but it's more focus on the hair. And they'll text after and they'll see the photo and they're like, oh my God, it looks so great. So I always tell people also when you're taking photos, if there is a blemish, if there is like something like that's distracting from the hair.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry, as a human being, I would not care if somebody, like, there's an app called Facetune. I'm sure everybody's heard of it, where you can like smooth the face out or whatever. Like, I don't care if somebody smooths out like my under eyes. Like, some nights I don't get a lot of sleep, you know, like whatever it is. And I'm just gonna like say this. There's been times where like I've had bad Botox.
Oh.
And I'm like, whoa, we got one eyebrow. It's going left field here.
I was gonna ask if it was the chin one, but never mind. You went eyebrow.
Guys, I'm in the beauty industry. I try stuff. Okay, one time I had my chin Botox and I couldn't smile for 6 fucking months.
She couldn't smile and laugh at the same time.
No.
So she would either go, okay. So first off, if you're not watching, go to.
Oh my God, it was the most embarrassing Botox fail I've ever had, and I'm usually super conservative with Botox. Like, literally, I'm like, just a little between like these little lines in here, and that's all I do. I do like 12 units, and then one day I was like, fill her up. I don't care. We were going to Europe, and literally my face, I was like, I am so frozen. I can't even talk. It was the worst.
First, I need you to go to bigmoneystylistnow.com so you can see what we're actually doing. But literally, because Danielle could not laugh and talk at the same time, she'd either go, or she would talk like this.
And Ani was such an asshole because like she'd make me laugh and I'd be like, you're such an asshole, and I'd be laughing and I'd be like it was like the ugliest. I was so self-conscious, like, and normally I'm like, like if I get a blemish or whatever, like I'm like, I don't really care, but I couldn't because I smile a lot and I'm on video a lot and I'm training a lot. I was like, saying little prayers for my face to get rid of the Botox, and now it's like gone, but it took a full 6 months. So moral of the story, don't ever get Botox in your chin. But my point being,
so you can edit photos.
Yeah, no. But I gotta share. Like, I've had bad Botox where my eyebrow looked like it dropped a little bit in the middle, and I was like, oh, that doesn't even look like me. It was just like bad Botox, and I actually went and got it fixed. But I remember I was getting photos for like my blog or something, so I just like Facetuned it and like lifted my brow a little bit because it was like distracting to the photo. I was like, why do I look like I'm scowling? You know. So, anyways, that's what I tell people. I'm like, don't over Facetune if you're gonna use that app.
Like, if you're gonna smooth someone's face, they shouldn't actually look blurry. No. That's a problem. And I've even seen...
Don't take away all lines.
No, we're human beings. Yeah. Like, with me, I'm aware I am such a, like, animated person facially. Like, I'm so animated. I know I'm going to get wrinkles. I'm cool with it. I don't really care. I'm 29 and I barely look 12 at this point, so I think I got some time. I'm pretty good with it. But I hate when you can see someone and you're like, why are you fuzzy? Yeah. Like, your whole feature is so smoothed out. That kind of freaks me out a little.
Well, you know what? Sometimes it's funny because, like, if the face is too over-edited, then people just assume the hair is over-edited. And maybe, like, the lighting was great on the hair or whatever. But I will say also, too, if you have good lighting, in my experience, the skin looks better. Like, you don't, like, even with Facetune, like that girl that I just showed you, I was like, I mean, I barely Facetune, like, her T-zone. I'm like, but the lighting was great, and it was natural lighting, plus we used a ring light. I was like, I didn't have to do a lot. So the point being, like, if you can learn more with lighting, the less editing you can do. But I get it. Some circumstances, like you're like, I have to adjust this a little bit. My camera went weird. I'm taking photos at weird hours, like whatever it is. But just make sure that it does represent your work. And
and even at DKW, like we have, guys, if you've never seen it, I mean, it's beautiful and there's so many windows and so much light, but there are actually a few light bulbs by the stations that are so
yellow.
warm.
Yeah, so warm.
I actually work with them off. Ian and I, we just turn them off all day long.
I wonder if I can get cool lights in there.
Well, because we've noticed if we leave them on and bring the client back, they're like, why does it look still so gold? And I'm like, hold on, turn the light off. And they're like, never mind. I'm like, I know. So even things like that, we are very aware, like, okay, we cannot take pictures with these lights because they cast a like huge yellow glow on everything we do. And before I came to DKW, I worked in a suite by myself. For any artist that's listening and you're like, well, this sucks. Like, I don't have natural light. It's super, super cold. Or sometimes it's like broiling hot where even then they start sweating and then the hair doesn't look good anyway. Like, I get it. So then you have to start working with either box lights or ring lights. And yeah, you kind of have to get good at editing, even if it's just balancing the white balance, because when you took it, it was too warm or way too cool. Because hair that is too cool, that you edited to be that way, is just as bad as if you take it and it's crazy warm.
Yeah.
And that's why we say, because I know the guy I was talking about on Instagram, he was talking to barbers as well, saying like, hey, when you're, cutting men's hair and you're fading it, don't use the smoothing app to make it look smoother than it is. Like if you couldn't fade it correctly, you couldn't do it correctly. And inside of that, there's a difference in what he was saying versus what Danielle is saying we do, that they're using that to correct mistakes that they did while doing someone's hair. We are doing it because lighting is hard. Taking pictures is really hard. And sometimes you're either there really early or you're there really late at night and the lighting is just funky.
I gotta show you this photo. This was one of my first, like when I started my brand. That's so ugly. But I mean, I put that in the page because I was like, there was no natural lighting. I still used a good camera there, but I just didn't know a lot and I didn't have a lot of experience with photos and posing and all that. And it's so funny because you know what? I remembered this specific client because she was a client of mine for a couple years. This photo, her hair looks super red, and in person, it wasn't red to me at all. It was a really pretty, like caramely blonde color. Like if anything, I toned it with with kind of an ashy toner mixed in with some warm tones. So it was funny because when I was even looking at a photo of some of my super old work, I was like, this doesn't even represent my work correctly, and I would not like purchase this product. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like the side by side. And I think a lot of artists get stuck in like, oh my God, but it looks beautiful in person. And that's another thing I shared in this post. I'm like, nobody knows how good you are unless you show them. So part of like the process now is getting good at photos so that you can show them how good it looked in person.
Absolutely. And pictures are just so
Okay, I got a
hard.
question for you.
Yeah.
So with extension hair, right? Specifically, sometimes it doesn't, like there's a lot of stuff with photos that with styling could be changed.
Man, styling, it's the one thing that kills me. I'll say, I know we talked about before, back shots are hard.
Yeah.
Because one little hair is out of line, but you have to make sure, however you're styling, is current.
Right.
And looks good. Age-wise, it's age appropriate for the client.
But don't you think too, like sometimes like I'll style somebody's hair and I think it looks beautiful and then I go to get the back shot and there's like a wonky curl, or I'm like, the ends need to be teased a little bit, or because I know with extension hair, most extension hair comes with a silicone and in time it will kind of fluff up. So it's like, it's always tricky too, because I'll see a lot of photos of extension work with, our students. And I'm like, I bet that looks so pretty in person. However, in the photo, it's kind of looking a little bit wispy, like we call it hair stingy. And so there's styling tips you can do to kind of like rough up the cuticle and get it to expand a little bit for new hair. So that's another thing with styling that you can do to kind of correct your photos. And I always tell people, you want to be able to like look at your photos and give yourself feedback. Like, oh, okay, I love it, but I might change her toner next time. Or, ooh, I have this one dark piece that I did not notice in person. She needed some balayage pieces under there. You know what I mean? So there's little things like that I'll try to look at my own work, give myself feedback, and even put it in the client's notes.
Oh, for sure. But that's the only way to get better. And I hear a lot of artists, they say, well, I took the picture, and when I took it, especially this is with bright blondes, they're like, I know like her hair looks yellow and the extensions don't, but I swear it wasn't like that in real life. And I'm like, I hear you. you.
Yeah.
And I will grant you that lighting can be weird. And if it was like an overcast, it'll make the top look yellow and not the bottom.
Right.
But I might also have you consider maybe it didn't blend as well as you thought. And the camera just kind of brought that out a little bit.
And it's hard to see that. Like, you have to be like, ooh, like in that photo that I just showed you, like, even though I'm like, hey, the lighting wasn't great, I'm like, that style is ugly. Her curls are wonky. And like, what is that pose? You know what I mean? So I can't blame everything on lighting. I'm like, literally, I'm like, and I can see a few lines. Like, the tone might be wrong. The lighting might be wrong, but this could be better. You know?
But at the end of the day, like, it still was not correct.
It wasn't just like the lighting wasn't correct. My work at the time was not as good as it could be. So I would challenge all of you out there it's hard to hear, but if you are able to give yourself feedback, you will become a better artist. Stop judging everybody else's work, whether you think they're filtering it or not. Focus on your own work and ask yourself, how can I learn and grow as an artist?
And I even see people like the bright white blondes. I know it can be done. There are artists that like specialize in that, so it kills you when people are like, all of that's edited. I'm like, nah, dude, did you not see his live video? It literally looked like that. So, and it's so crazy. I will go back, and I just the other day was looking at photos from when I was in Missouri, and I was like, man, you looked. My work in general has grown so much, and then my photos have gotten better. Even though I know I'm in struggle central right now, like
you're in trouble.
Fucking cameras, man. And I know it's also me. I can't even blame the camera. I know it's me, but I like can't figure out. I swear to God, I know it's gonna be like one little button to press.
She's manual.
Shut up, Danielle.
It's manual, and then you hold it down halfway and it focuses for you.
I know, but look, it's in my car. We're gonna work on it.
I give Ani a lot of shit because she's an educator with me, and I'm like, God damn it, Ani.
It's literally, she's like, why are you struggling so much? I'm like, I don't know. But you know what? I swear to God, this is like, you know how everybody always has a hang up on one thing? I swear to God, because my hang up wasn't the beadwork, it wasn't the stitching, it wasn't the end beads. Like, this is the one thing that I'm going to be like, once I get this, can't fucking touch me on anything. Because my beadwork can't touch me on my beadwork.
I've seen your work in person, and then you'll send me photos, and I'm like, oh, this was so much better in person. So my goal is always like, you know, when you feel that with a client, you're like, this is so good, like home run. It like my goal is to try to get a photo that represents that home run. And a lot of it is like even angles of the client's face where it like, I know when there's clients, like I said, that feel uncomfortable and they're like, I don't want my face in it. But if I have them lean their head down and like turn to the side, I get like a teeny bit of like an eyelash and I like fluff up their hair. It's kind of sexy to me and it shows off the hair. And that to me like sometimes like sells it even more.
Oh,
you know?
definitely.
So there's little things you can do inside of like coaching your clients. How to pose, but also like letting them feel comfortable. Because this specific client was like, no, she's like, I'm not photogenic. And I was like, and it was so funny as I'm taking, I'm like, oh my God, you look gorgeous. I'm like, I know you said you're not photogenic and I'm not getting your face, but you look beautiful. And like saying like things like that. And I think it like clients, and then they start to kind of enjoy it and they don't mind getting their photos taken regardless if they feel comfortable in front of the camera or not.
And I think the very last thing to touch on, because we're almost finished, is don't be too prideful to ask for help either.
Yeah.
Because even yesterday at the salon, my client that came in was like massively curly hair. Lord help her poor chemical haircut. But I knew, I like even seeing her before, I was like, I know I'm going to crush this and it's going to be beautiful. I text Danielle the night before and I'm like, hey, I have this client coming in tomorrow. I know there's something.
You knew it was going to be a big transformation.
Yes. I'm like, I know there's something weird with my camera. We'll figure that out. But I know you're with clients and you're busy, but could I yank you for just 5-10 minutes and have you help me with the after? Right. And Danielle was super chill. She's like, yes. And even when she saw me, she's like, want me to do it? And I'm like, hold on, let me do it first. Let me try.
But then it was so good. I was like, can I take one?
I know. And I literally looked at Lo and I'm like, go get Danielle. I'm like, I know she's itching to do it. But even that, like, don't be so prideful that you're like, no, I got it. I know it. Like, everyone's good at something.
Right.
And Danielle, you just excel at fucking pictures. Like, my God, at this point, you know? So I was like, I want to crush this picture, but I wanted it to represent, like, because it took about 4.5 hours, which
you
for
put
me
a lot of work into it. And
my appointments take me 3 hours. So for 4.5, like, you know, there was some work done. And I was like, if she were to leave and the picture were not to be what I see it live, that would have crushed me.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, go get Danielle. And Danielle's like, move this here, hold light here. And I'm like, and I'm hovering literally. I feel like I was breathing on your shoulder watching.
I think that's what's so hard is like knowing like how much work you put into things. And not actually learning how to play with lighting, not actually investing in a good camera. Like, you spent so much time on this work, it's your marketing. And even if you're like, well, my books are full. Yeah, but like, you could up your game as a stylist. You could charge more. You could hand select your clients. Like, there's no such thing as like, well, I know it's good in person. Like, that's just having an ego. That's no way to learn and grow. And you'll just be stuck in your little box. I don't care if you've been doing hair for 30 years, 10 years, 5 years. Like, my goal, like, I value learning so much because I've seen what it's helped me do as a human being. And so I just feel like I've become like smarter, and I've like, my work's gotten better, and I can see the proof. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, I've seen success in my life. I've seen success in my business. I've literally seen my photos get better, but it's because I have to always ask myself, like, don't be an asshole. Can you improve? Like, and then if even in business, if I have a situation where shit goes sideways and I'm so pissed and I want to blame that person, I have to remind myself, you created the circumstances for this to happen. So learn from it, grow from it, and move on. Because I hate being in like this whiny mentality inside of my own business as well. I'm like,
yes,
hey, that fucking sucks. But let's figure out how we do it better next time. Because again, I value growth a lot, and I'm always looking to like figure out the game and move on.
And that's why it comes down to having an ego, which even with me, I could easily have an ego, but probably I could be like, well, I'm the lead trainer, leave me alone, it's fine, whatever. But no, I look at it and I'm like, damn it, I know, like, I'm not there yet with these fucking pictures, and I can't figure out what it is. But even this morning, I think I spent like 2 hours with my camera, just sitting there like redoing things and switching it up. And then I had my boyfriend look at it, and he's like, I don't know what you're doing either. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing either. Like, he couldn't even I sent some legit.
He's like a camera guy.
And he couldn't even take a correct picture. So let it be known, there's something with the camera. It's cursed. I bought a cursed camera, guys. So, but even then, like, so I know he's literally a camera guy, and he can't, I don't know, whatever. So, but the point is, I don't have an ego about it. I'm like, I know I'm struggling. I know, but so help me God, like, I am spending time to try to figure out like what the fuck is happening. So even with you being like, hey, can I take your camera to work Thursday?
You know how you're like, when we watch a student do something, we're like, I don't know what you're doing wrong. Let me watch you. And you have to observe them for a minute.
Yeah.
Because I don't, like, we work together now more, but I swear for the last year, we didn't work together like ever.
No, literally never. My day was Monday, yours are Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And I didn't know how to even give you feedback on photos. I'm like, I know your work's good. You've done my hair. Like, I know your work's good. I'm like, what the fuck are with your photos? Like, I could not handle it. And then working with you, like, I'll try to pay attention to it. Like, even yesterday, I was like, why is she going to that spot versus this spot? Like, little things. Yeah. Well, but then I can tell you, hey, go here. We have shades in my salon. I'm like, bring the shades down. Like, it mutes out this lighting. Turn off these yellow lights. But I'm so aware of it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and see, and I don't work in that section down there. And then when I took the photos in the spot, you're like, it's too bright. I'm like, but why are mine still too dark? I'm like, damn it. So
right. So then it's your camera.
See, thank you. It's cursed. So with that being said, guys, thank you for joining us for another episode of Big Money Stylist Podcast. Remember, editing is fine if you're doing it to represent how your work truly looked in person. If you're using editing because you can't get it right in the salon, like you're doing something wrong with the hair, you are not representing yourself well, you're not representing your brand well, and you're really doing a disservice to future clients because you will not be able to provide them what you're showing.
Perfect.
So, that being said, we'll see you guys next week.